The soft blue glow of computer screens lit up Gina's face as she stared at the data. It was 2:37 a.m., and she was the only one left in the Seoul Astronomical Institute. Again. She rubbed her tired eyes and reached for her coffee mug. Empty. The fifth one tonight. That can't be right, she whispered to herself. Gina Kim had spent 3 years watching star KR-47. It was just another star 47 light-years away from Earth. Nothing special. Until tonight. The radiation patterns had changed. Not in a natural way. They pulsed with a rhythm that reminded her of mathematics. Gina saved the data and ran the tests again. Same result. Her heart beat faster. This was not random. This was not natural. Morning came, and with it, the other scientists. Gina had not slept at all. Her black hair was messy, and dark circles framed her eyes. But she didn't care. She needed to tell someone. Director Park. She called out, rushing toward the tall man walking down the hallway. Director Daeho Park turned around slowly. His face showed no emotion. Dr. Kim, you're here early. Sir, I need to show you something. Last night, I found unusual radiation patterns from KR-47. They repeat in a way that... Dr. Kim, he cut her off. We have discussed this before. Your enthusiasm is admirable, but we need to focus on projects that have funding. Gina took a deep breath. Sir, this is different. The pattern repeats exactly every 137 minutes. That's too precise to be natural. Director Park sighed. Have you checked your equipment? The new satellite has had problems since it was installed. Yes, I checked everything. 3 times. He looked at his watch. I have a meeting with government officials in 10 minutes. Email me your findings, and I will look at them later. Gina knew what that meant. Later was never. In the main lab, 5 other scientists were getting ready for the day. Gina walked to her workstation and sat down. No one asked about her night or why she looked so tired. Hey, everyone, she announced, louder than necessary. I found something strange from KR-47 last night. A radiation pattern that repeats exactly every 137 minutes. Dr. Han looked up from his computer. Did you run a diagnostic on the equipment? Yes. Dr. Moon laughed. Gina is hunting aliens again. The room filled with chuckles. Gina's face turned red, but she kept her voice steady. I'm not saying it's aliens. I'm saying it's unusual and worth investigating. Dr. Yoon, the oldest scientist in the room, shook his head. Young people always want to find something exciting. Sometimes a star is just a star. Gina opened her mouth to argue but stopped. She had been here before. Many times. Instead, she turned back to her computer and started working. She would prove it herself. At lunch, Gina sat alone, as usual. She checked her email. Nothing from Director Park. She wasn't surprised. As she ate her cold noodles, someone sat across from her. It was Ta Sun Lee, a new systems engineer. He was younger than most staff, maybe 25 or 26. I heard you found something interesting, he said, opening his lunchbox. Gina looked up, surprised. You believe me? Tai Sun shrugged. I don't know yet, but I'd like to see your data. For the first time that day, Gina smiled. Really? Sure. The satellite systems are my responsibility anyway. If there's a problem, I should know. There's no problem with the equipment, Gina said firmly. Tai Sun smiled. Then I'd really like to see what you found. As they finished lunch, Gina felt a small hope growing. Maybe, just maybe, someone would finally listen. That night, as everyone left, Gina stayed behind again. This time, she was not alone. Tai Sun sat at the computer next to hers, his eyes wide as he looked at the data. You're right, he said quietly. This is not normal. Gina nodded, a determined look on her face. Now we just need to figure out what it means. Outside, stars filled the night sky. including one 47 light-years away that was trying to tell them something. 3 months passed. Gina's desk was no longer just a workspace. It was a small mountain of papers, coffee cups, and food wrappers. Dark circles had become permanent features under her eyes. Every night, the strange signals from star KR-47 continued. Every day, her colleagues continued to ignore her. "Look at this," Gina said to Ta's son, who had become her only friend at the institute. She pointed at her computer screen. "I've recorded 92 days of data now." Ta's son leaned closer. On the screen was a pattern that repeated with perfect precision. "When you map it mathematically," Gina explained, "it forms a sequence. 1, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. Prime numbers." Ta's son whispered. Gina nodded. "Exactly. Nature doesn't make perfect prime number sequences." "So what are you saying?" Ta's son asked, though he already knew the answer. "I'm saying this is a message. Someone or something is sending this signal. On purpose." Ta's son sat back in his chair. "That's big. I know, and no one will listen to me. Have you tried showing Director Park again?" Gina laughed without humor. "3 times. He says I'm wasting time that should be spent on funded projects." Ta's son thought for a moment. What about the scientific community outside the institute? The next week, Gina stood in front of 200 scientists at the International Astronomy Conference. Her hands shook as she held her notes. "The radiation pattern from star KR-47 shows a clear mathematical sequence of prime numbers," she said. "This suggests intelligent origin." The room was silent for a moment. Then someone laughed. Then another. Soon, half the room was laughing. From the front row, a famous scientist stood up. "Dr. Kim, are you seriously suggesting aliens are sending us math problems?" More laughter. "I'm suggesting," Gina said, trying to keep her voice steady, "that this pattern is too precise to be natural. Perhaps your equipment needs calibration," another scientist called out. "Or perhaps you need sleep," someone shouted from the back. The room erupted in laughter again. Gina left the stage with her head down. Her career was over. She knew it. Outside the conference hall, Ta's son waited. "That bad?" he asked, seeing her face. Gina nodded. "They think I'm crazy." "Then they're blind," Ta's son said firmly. "I've been thinking, what if we built better equipment? Something more sensitive." Gina looked up. "With what money?" "I have savings, and I know people who can get us parts for cheap." "You would do that?" Ta's son smiled. "Science is about finding truth, right? Let's find it." For the next month, they worked in Ta's son's small apartment. They built a receiver more powerful than the one at the institute. Every night, they pointed it at KR-47. One night, as Gina was about to give up and go home, the computer beeped. "Ta's son," she called. "Look at this." The screen showed a new pattern, clearer than before. Not just prime numbers now. Something more complex. "It's changing," Ta's son said, "getting stronger. And look at the radiation frequency. It's shifted. Like they're..." Gina's voice trailed off. "Like they're what?" "Like they're getting closer." That night, as they finally went to sleep, something happened 4.5 billion kilometers away. Near Neptune's orbit, space itself seemed to bend for a fraction of a second. No one on Earth noticed, except for one person. At the Global Space Authority headquarters, a young technician named Jun-Ho stared at his monitor. For exactly 1.3 seconds, energy readings near Neptune had spiked to impossible levels. He reached for his phone to report it, then stopped. Who would believe him? It was probably just a glitch. He deleted the data and went back to work. Meanwhile, in her small apartment, Gina Kim slept for the first time in days. She didn't know it yet, but time was running out. For her. For everyone. In the darkness of space, something was coming. Gina and Ta's son stared at their computer screen. The new equipment had worked better than they hoped. The signal from KR-47 was now crystal clear. "It's not just prime numbers anymore," Gina said, her voice barely above a whisper. "This is a complex mathematical sequence." Tai-sun nodded. "It's like a language based on math." For hours, they analyzed the new data. Gina barely noticed the sun rising outside Tai-sun's apartment window. "There's a pattern that repeats exactly every 17 minutes, she said, pointing to the screen. "Whatever this is, it's not random. It's a message." Tai-sun ran his hands through his hair. "We need to tell someone." "Who?" "The Institute thinks I'm obsessed. The scientific community laughed at me." "The Global Space Authority," Tai-sun suggested. "They monitor space for threats." Gina thought for a moment, then nodded. "It's worth trying." Later that day, they sat in a cold waiting room at the GSA headquarters. After 3 hours, a man in a blue uniform finally called them in. Commander Sang-Hoon Kang was a tall man with a permanent frown. He did not offer them seats. "Dr. Kim, Mr. Lee," he said, looking at their IDs. "You claim to have discovered an alien signal." Gina straightened her back. "We discovered a non-natural signal from the KR-47 star system. Here is our data." She placed a flash drive on his desk. Commander Kang did not touch it. "Do you know how many alien signal reports we get each month, Dr. Kim?" "This is different," Tai-sun said. "We have 3 months of consistent data." "Dr. Kim," the commander continued, ignoring Tai-sun, "I've checked your record. You were recently laughed off stage at the astronomy conference. Your own director thinks you're wasting resources." Gina felt her face grow hot. "The data speaks for itself, Commander." Indeed. He finally picked up the flash drive and inserted it into his computer. He glanced at the screen for less than 10 seconds before removing it. This could be anything. Equipment malfunction, solar interference, or a hoax. He handed the drive back to Gina. "Thank you for your concern, but the GSA has real threats to monitor." "But," Gina started. "Good day, Dr. Kim, Mr. Lee." The commander stood up, making it clear the meeting was over. As they left the building, Gina fought back tears of frustration. "Now what?" Ta-sun placed a hand on her shoulder. "We keep working, keep collecting data. The truth will speak for itself eventually." That night, as they returned to their equipment, something strange happened. At exactly 9:17 p.m., every television channel, radio station, and satellite communication around the world went silent for exactly 7 seconds. Gina and Tai-sun didn't notice until Ta-sun's phone buzzed with a news alert. "Gina," he called, his voice shaking slightly. "Look at this." The headline read, "Global Communications Disruption. Expertise VAFFLED." Gina read the article quickly. 7 seconds, she whispered. "The exact time it takes for our sequence to complete one cycle." They looked at each other, the same thought in both their minds. "We need to check if the interference pattern matches our signal," Gina said, already typing furiously on her computer. By midnight, they had their answer. The global interference perfectly matched the mathematical sequence they had recorded from KR-47. "This is proof," Gina said, her eyes wide. "Something is coming to our solar system, and it just announced itself to the whole planet." Tai-sun's phone rang. It was a number he didn't recognize. "Hello," he answered cautiously. "Mr. Lee," a familiar voice said. "This is Commander Kang from the GSA. Is Dr. Kim with you?" "Yes," Ta-sun said, surprised. "Good, don't go anywhere. A car is coming to pick you both up." The commander's voice was different now. Urgent, maybe even afraid. "What happened?" Ta-sun asked. "We need to talk about your signal," Commander Kang said. "Now." As Ta-sun hung up, he looked at Gina. "They're coming for us." Gina nodded, a mix of validation and fear on her face. "They're finally taking us seriously." Outside, In the night sky, the stars shone, as they always had. But somewhere among them, something was moving, coming closer. And now, Earth knew it too. The black car drove Gina and Ta-Sun through the night. Neither of them spoke. The driver, a serious man in a dark suit, kept his eyes on the road. They arrived at a building with no signs. Underground, they were led into a room where 10 people sat around a large table. Gina recognized Commander Kang. Next to him sat Director Park, who avoided her eyes. At the head of the table was a thin, gray-haired man. "Dr. Kim, Mr. Lee," he said. "I am Chairman Min-Ho Choi of the World Science Council. Please, sit down." As they sat, Chairman Choi spoke again. 2 hours ago, every electronic device on Earth experienced interference for exactly 7 seconds. Our best scientists cannot explain it. He looked directly at Gina. "Commander Kang tells me you might have an explanation." Gina took a deep breath. This was her moment. "The interference matches a mathematical sequence we've been receiving from star KR-47 for months." "Impossible," said a woman at the table. "No signal from 47 light-years away could affect Earth's electronics like that. Unless," Ta-Sun said, "the source is no longer 47 light-years away." The room fell silent. "What are you suggesting?" Chairman Choi asked. "Something is coming toward Earth," Gina said simply. "And it's coming fast." Director Park finally spoke. "Dr. Kim has a history of unusual theories." "I have data," Gina replied firmly. She connected her laptop to the room's display. "This is the signal from KR-47. This is the pattern of yesterday's global interference. They match exactly." Even Director Park couldn't deny the matching patterns on the screen. "There's more," Gina continued. "Based on signal strength, I can predict when the next 3 interferences will happen." She wrote 3 times on a piece of paper and handed it to Chairman Choi. "Tomorrow at 3:17 p.m., the day after at 9:17 a.m., and the next day at 3:17 a.m. Each will last exactly 7 seconds. Chairman Choi studied the paper. "If you're right about this." "I am," Gina said. The next day, at exactly 3:17 p.m., it happened again. 7 seconds of global electronic interference, exactly as Gina predicted. Emergency meetings were called worldwide. News reports spoke of solar flares and technical glitches. But governments knew better. Gina and Tai-Sun were moved to a secure facility. They were given a team of scientists and all the equipment they needed, but they were also guards at their door. "Are we guests or prisoners?" Ta-Sun asked as they set up their new lab. "Both," Gina answered. The second interference came right on schedule, and the third. After each one, more officials visited their lab. More questions were asked. More worried faces appeared. On the 4th day, Chairman Choi returned. "Dr. Kim, the Council is prepared to take your research seriously now." Gina looked up from her computer. "You mean now that I've been proven right 3 times?" The chairman had the grace to look embarrassed. "Yes, we need your help." "What exactly is coming to Earth?" "I don't know yet," Gina said honestly. "But the signal is growing stronger every day. And the math behind it is becoming more complex. It's like..." "Like what?" the chairman pressed. "Like it's trying to teach us its language before it arrives." Chairman Choi nodded slowly. "How long do we have?" Gina turned her computer screen toward him. It showed a countdown. "Based on signal strength increase, whatever it is will reach Earth in approximately 72 hours. The color drained from the chairman's face. 3 days. "That's impossible. Nothing moves that fast." "Nothing we know of," Ta-Sun corrected. As Chairman Choi left to inform world leaders, Gina continued working. On her screen, complex equations filled page after page. "I think I'm starting to understand some of this," she told Ta-Sun. "It's beautiful, really. Their math is like poetry." Outside their secure room, the world was changing. Military forces mobilized quietly. Religious leaders call for calm. And in space agencies around the world, every telescope turned toward the same point in space. Something was coming, and only Gina Kim truly understood what it was trying to say. The world changed in 3 days. At first, governments tried to keep it quiet. They said the signal disruptions were just technical problems. But when every telescope on Earth confirmed an object moving toward our planet at impossible speed, the truth came out. Something was coming. Fast. Gina hadn't slept in 48 hours. Her secure lab now had 20 scientists working under her direction. Even Director Park was there, quietly following her orders. The object will reach Earth's orbit in 24 hours, Gina announced to the room. It's slowing down, which suggests controlled movement. A ship? Commander Kang asked. He hadn't left the facility since this began. Most likely, Gina nodded. And big. Really big. Outside, the world was in chaos. Some people panicked. Others prayed. Many just waited. Ta's son brought Gina a cup of coffee. You should rest, he said quietly. She shook her head. No time. I'm close to understanding more of their math. Look at this. On her screen was a complex pattern. This isn't just communication. It's instructions. Instructions for what? Ta's son asked. Before Gina could answer, the door opened. Chairman Choi entered with 3 people Gina had only seen on TV. The president, the defense minister, and the foreign minister. Everyone in the room stood up straight. Dr. Kim, the president said, walking directly to her, I'm told you're the only one who understands what's happening. Gina swallowed hard. 3 weeks ago, she was a joke at the institute. Now the president wanted her advice. Not completely, sir, she admitted. But I understand some of it. Is this an invasion? The defense minister asked bluntly. Gina shook her head. I don't think so. Their communications are open, not hidden. They want us to understand them. Then what do they want? The president asked. I don't know yet, Gina said. But in 12 hours, I think they'll tell us themselves. The foreign minister looked confused. How do you know that? Gina pointed to her equations. This part of their message repeats with increasing frequency. It's a countdown. It ends in 12 hours, when they'll be near our moon. The president nodded slowly. Dr. Kim, I'm placing you in charge of first contact procedures. Whatever resources you need are yours. Director Park's mouth fell open in shock. Commander Kang looked like he had swallowed something sour. As the officials left, Ta's son whispered to Gina, First contact procedures. Do we even have those? We do now, Gina said, and I'm writing them. For the next 10 hours, Gina worked nonstop. She created a response message based on the same mathematical principles the aliens used. Simple at first, then increasingly complex. We need to show them we understand, she explained to her team. Math is universal. It's the safest way to communicate. At the 11-hour mark, astronomers reported the object had reached the moon's orbit. It was slowing down more. And it was huge, at least 2 kilometers long. Television stations worldwide showed the same images, a dark, massive shape moving slowly across the stars. Phones rang in every government office. People gathered in streets, looking up. Then, at exactly the 12-hour mark, every electronic device on Earth received the same message. Not interference this time, actual images. Mathematical symbols flowing across screens worldwide. In the lab, Gina watched with wide eyes. What is it? Commander Kang asked, his voice tense. It's their full language, Gina whispered. They're giving us everything at once. Can you understand it? Chairman Choi asked. Gina nodded slowly, her eyes not leaving the screen. Some of it. And what I understand is incredible. Outside, the massive ship finally stopped moving. It hung in space, just beyond the moon, waiting. For the first time in history, humanity was truly not alone. And their only hope for understanding these visitors was a woman no one had taken seriously until now. Gina Kim took a deep breath. It was time to answer back. World leaders gathered in an emergency meeting. Military forces were on high alert. Weapons were aimed at the sky. In her lab, Gina worked frantically to translate the alien message. They call themselves the Nari, she told the team around her. Their language is built on mathematical principles. What do they want? Commander Kang demanded. His hand rested on his gun, as if that would help against a ship larger than a city. They're peaceful, Gina said, looking up from her computer. They've been watching us for decades, learning our languages and cultures. Director Park frowned. If they're peaceful, why come in such a large ship? Because they're running from something, Gina answered. Something worse. Before anyone could ask more questions, alarms blared through the facility. A soldier burst into the room. Sir, our weapons systems are shutting down. All of them. Worldwide. Commander Kang grabbed his phone. What do you mean, shutting down? Everything is going offline. Missiles, planes, satellites. We can't even fire a bullet. Panic filled the room. Only Gina remained calm, still reading the alien message. They don't want us to hurt ourselves, she said. It's a safety measure. Safety, Commander Kang shouted. They've disabled Earth's defenses. No, Gina corrected. They've disabled Earth's weapons. There's a difference. The room fell silent as a new message appeared on every screen. Unlike the earlier mathematical symbols, this was in perfect Korean. Then it changed to English, then Chinese, then every language on Earth, one after another. They learned our languages, Ta Sun whispered. All of them. The message was simple. We come in peace. We seek dialogue with Gina Kim. Every eye in the room turned to Gina. How do they know your name? Chairman Choi asked, his voice shaking. They've been reading our internet, Gina explained. Our broadcasts. They know everything about us. All this time. Director Park said, you were right. Gina nodded. And now they want to talk. To me. Absolutely not, Commander Kang said immediately. We can't let you. It's not your decision, the president interrupted, walking into the room. Dr. Kim, they're asking for you specifically. Will you speak with them? Gina took a deep breath. Yes. Within an hour, Gina sat before a special communication system. Cameras broadcast her image worldwide. Billions watched as she sent a simple greeting in the Nari's mathematical language. The response was immediate. A three-dimensional image appeared in the center of the room. It showed a tall, slender being with smooth blue skin and large, deep eyes. Gina Kim, it said in perfect Korean. I am Lanu, ambassador of the Nari. We have waited long to meet you. Why me? Gina asked, finding her voice. Because your mind works like ours, Lanu replied. You saw patterns where others saw nothing. You persisted when others mocked you. You are the bridge we need. Commander Kang stepped forward. What do you want from Earth? The alien's large eyes turned to him. We want nothing from Earth. We bring a warning and an offer. What warning? The president asked. There is danger coming. A species called the Vex. They consume worlds. They will reach your system in 5 of your years. The room went silent. And your offer? Gina asked. Alliance, Lanu said simply. Together with other species, we fight the Vex. Alone, all fall. Together, we may survive. Why should we trust you? Commander Kang asked. We could have destroyed your world without landing, Lanu answered. Instead, we disabled your weapons to protect you from fear-driven mistakes. The alien turned back to Gina. We request you join us on our vessel. As Earth's representative, we will share knowledge that will help prepare your world. All eyes turned to Gina again. The scientist who everyone laughed at was now being asked to represent humanity to the stars. I'll go, she said without hesitation. But I want Ta Sun Lee to come with me. Lanu nodded. The one who believed when others did not. Yes, he is welcome. As preparations began for Gina's journey to the Nori ship, Director Park approached her quietly. I was wrong about you, he admitted. I'm sorry. Gina looked at him for a long moment. Sometimes, she said, the truth is hard to see. Until you have to see it. The morning Gina and Tai Sun were to leave for the Nori ship, the world held its breath. The small shuttle that would take them up looked tiny next to the massive alien vessel hanging in space. Are you scared? Ta Sun asked as they put on special suits designed by the Nari. Gina nodded. Yes, but also excited. A group of important people came to see them off. The president shook Gina's hand. The fate of Earth is in your hands, Dr. Kim, he said. We trust you. Gina almost laughed. 2 weeks ago, no one trusted her to run her own lab. Commander Kang approached them last. I've assigned a security team to go with you, he said. No, Gina replied firmly. The Nori asked for me and Ta's son only. We go alone or not at all. The commander's face turned red, but before he could argue, Chairman Choi stepped in. Dr. Kim is right. We must show trust if we want trust in return. The ride to the Nori ship took less than an hour. As the shuttle approached, Gina and Tai-sun stared out the window in amazement. The alien vessel was beautiful, smooth curves, and shimmering surfaces that changed color slightly as they watched. It's like it's alive, Ta-sun whispered. A door opened in the side of the massive ship, and their shuttle was guided inside. When the door closed behind them, soft lights came on. Welcome, Gina Kim and Ta-sun Lee. Lanu's voice came from everywhere at once. Please exit your shuttle. Our air is safe for you to breathe. Cautiously, they stepped out. The inside of the Nori ship was even more amazing than the outside. The walls seemed to flow like water. The floor glowed softly under their feet. Lanu was waiting for them. In person, the alien was taller than Gina expected, at least 2 meters high. Its blue skin had patterns that shifted slightly, like ripples on water. Thank you for coming, Lanu said, bowing in the Korean style. Few humans would have shown such courage. Thank you for choosing me, Gina replied. But why did you? Lanu gestured for them to follow. They walked through curving hallways where other Nori moved aside respectfully. Our scientists studied your species for decades, Lanu explained. We monitored your communications, your internet. We needed to find a human whose mind works similarly to ours. And that's Gina? Ta-sun asked. Yes. When we saw how she recognized patterns in our signal, how she persisted despite ridicule, we knew she was the one. They entered a large room with a window that showed Earth floating in space. It was breathtaking. Our home, Gina whispered. A beautiful world, Lanu agreed. One worth saving. The alien touched the wall, and a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy appeared in the center of the room. Here is Earth, Lanu said, pointing to a small dot. And here, the alien pointed to a dark area spreading across many star systems. This is where the Vex have already been. Gina and Tai-sun stared in horror. Dozens of stars were simply gone. The Vex consume everything, Lanu continued. Planets, stars, all matter. They convert it to energy for themselves. How do we stop them? Gina asked. Alone, we cannot. But together. Lanu touched the map again. Colorful dots appeared, representing different alien civilizations. Together, we have a chance. Is that why your ship is so big? Ta-sun asked. For war? Lanu made a sound like gentle bells. A laugh, Gina realized. No. Our ship is big because it carries our future, seeds of our worlds. Knowledge, history, like your Noah's Ark. You think we might lose, Gina said. It wasn't a question. We might, Lanu admitted, but with Earth joining us, our chances improve. Your species thinks differently. You see solutions where we do not. Like Gina did with your signal, Tai-sun said. Exactly. Lanu turned to Gina. Will you help us prepare your world? We have 5 years. Gina looked at the image of Earth, small and blue and fragile. Yes, she said. Where do we start? Lanu's eyes seemed to smile. With your world leaders, who, I believe, are now much more willing to listen to Gina Kim. 2 days later, Gina stood before the United Nations. Every world leader was present. Billions watched on screens worldwide. Behind her stood Lanu, tall and blue and alien. Some people in the room couldn't look directly at the Nari. Others couldn't look away. The threat is real, Gina said into the microphone. Her voice was steady now. No more nervousness. The Vex will reach our solar system in 5 years. They have already destroyed 17 civilizations. On the large screen behind her, images from the Nari's records played. Planets turning dark. Stars going out. It was terrifying. The Nari are not our enemies, Gina continued. They are refugees and warriors, like many other species who have joined together to fight the Vex. A man stood up. Dr. Kim, how do we know this isn't a trick? Perhaps the Nari themselves are the threat. Before Gina could answer, Commander Kang surprised everyone by standing up. I had the same question, he said. So I went to their ship myself yesterday. I saw their records, their history, their weapons. He paused. If they wanted to destroy us, they could have done it already. Gina nodded her thanks to the commander. He gave her a small nod back. The Nari have an offer, Gina said. An alliance, but it comes with conditions. The room grew quiet. What conditions? The president asked. Lanu stepped forward. Although the alien had learned all human languages, it chose to speak in a neutral, computerized voice that translated into every language simultaneously. Earth must unite, Lanu said. We cannot work with 195 separate nations. You must form one government to represent all humans. Angry murmurs filled the room. Impossible, someone shouted. That would take decades of negotiation, said another. Lanu waited for quiet. You have 1 year. After that, we must begin preparations. And if we refuse, asked a woman in a military uniform. Then we will leave, Lanu said simply. We cannot force you to join us. But alone, Earth will fall to the Vex. No single planet has ever survived them. The room erupted in shouting. Gina looked at Ta-sun, who stood to the side. He gave her an encouraging smile. The president called for order. When the room was quiet again, he asked, What help can you offer if we agree? Technology, Lanu answered. Knowledge, training, ways to defend your world and fight alongside us. Dr. Kim, the president said, turning to Gina, you've spent more time with the Nari than anyone. Do you believe this is our only option? Gina took a deep breath. Just months ago, she was a nobody. Now the world waited for her answer. Yes, she said firmly. I've seen the evidence. The Vex are coming. We need the Nari and their allies. She looked around the room, meeting the eyes of people who had power all their lives. We humans are proud, she continued. We believe we can solve any problem alone. But this threat is bigger than us. It's bigger than our divisions and our borders. Gina pointed to the images of destroyed worlds still showing on the screen. Those civilizations were more advanced than us, some by thousands of years, and they fell. The only survivors were those who joined the alliance. She placed her hands on the podium. We have 5 years to prepare for a fight like nothing in human history. But first, we need to stop fighting each other. The room was silent. Gina could almost see the thoughts racing through the minds of the world leaders. I was ignored when I discovered the Nori signal, she said. I was laughed at when I presented my findings. But reality didn't care about opinions. Truth remained truth. Now the truth is standing right behind me, she said, gesturing to Lanu. And in 5 years, The Vex will be at our door, whether we believe in them or not. The president stood slowly. Thank you, Dr. Kim. He looked at Lanu. Tell your people we will consider your offer. As they left the chamber, Tai-sun whispered to Jinna, do you think they'll agree? Jinna watched the arguing leaders. They have to, she said. We have no choice. 5 years passed quickly. Jinna stood at the window of her office in the new Global Unity Tower. From here, she could see the massive defense platforms being built in the distance. The final reports are ready, Tai-sun said, entering the room. He wasn't just her friend anymore. He was her husband and second in command of Earth's Interstellar Relations Division. Jinna turned and smiled. Are we ready? As ready as we can be, Tai-sun answered. The Nori technology has changed everything. Our ships can now travel to Mars in days instead of months. Jinna nodded. It hadn't been easy getting here. The first year after the Nori arrival had been the hardest. Nations argued. Some refused to join the new global government. There had been protests and even some fighting. But then the Nori showed everyone videos of the Vex destroying a star system just 70 light-years away. After that, Earth united quickly. The door opened, and Director Park walked in. He wasn't a director anymore. Now he worked for Jinna, managing research teams. The weapons tests were successful, he reported. The energy shields worked exactly as the Nori said they would. Good, Jinna said. And the space fleet. 50 ships completed. Another 100 will be ready by next month. Jinna looked at her watch. It's time for the meeting. They walked together to the large conference room, where the Earth Defense Council met. Commander Kang was already there, now General Kang, leader of Earth's combined military forces. Dr. Kim, he said with a respectful nod. The old suspicion in his eyes was long gone. The past 5 years had made them allies, maybe even friends. The room filled with leaders from around the world. Once they were seated, the wall opened to reveal Lanu and 3 other aliens from different species in the Alliance. The Vex fleet has entered your solar system, Lanu announced without greeting. They will reach Earth in 7 days. The room stayed calm. Everyone had been preparing for this moment. Our combined fleet will meet them near Mars, said a small green alien named Zuru. Earth ships will join us there. General Kang stood up. Our forces are ready. 50 ships now, with more joining as they're completed. The planetary shields. Asked Tenor, a tall, insect-like alien. Operational, Tai-sun reported. They can protect our major cities if the Vex break through the fleet. The 4th alien, a crystalline being called Vosh, made a sound like chimes. Your progress in 5 years is remarkable. Most species take decades to reach this level. Jaina felt a moment of pride. Humans had worked together like never before. Old enemies had become partners. Scientists shared discoveries instead of hiding them. There is something you should know, Lanu said, looking directly at Jaina. We have studied the Vex movements. They changed course 3 times to head directly to Earth. They are coming here specifically. Why? Jaina asked, feeling cold suddenly. We believe they sense something unique about your world, something they fear. The meeting continued with battle plans and evacuation procedures. When it ended, Jaina walked to the window again, looking at the city below. Penny for your thoughts, Ta-sun asked, coming to stand beside her. 5 years ago, I was just an astronomer that no one listened to, Jaina said quietly. Now I'm helping lead Earth's defense against alien invaders. Tai-sun took her hand. You were right all along. They had to start taking you seriously. It's not about me anymore, Jaina said. It's about all of us. Lanu approached them. Jaina Kim, there is something I never told you. What's that? Jaina asked. The Vex have destroyed 17 civilizations that we know of, but they have retreated from 3. All 3 had one thing in common. What? They were unpredictable. They thought differently. They surprised the Vex. Lanu's large eyes seemed to shine. Like you surprised us. Gina looked out at the Earth again. Humans were stubborn, creative, and sometimes foolish, but those same qualities might save them now. In 7 days, humanity would face its greatest test, but they would not face it alone. And they would not face it unprepared. All because one woman saw a pattern in the stars that no one else believed, until they had to.